too, Reggie.
Yeah, yeah, I called Al. I had to take advantage of an opportunity. Take advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, as
sure.
long as you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm doing better than fine.
All right. I was doing a lot of juicing myself, and the machine I have requires a lot of cleanup. So I just stopped. I just got tired of it. So I think after listening to you, I'm going to go back juicing again.
Oh yes, ma'am. It's been righteous. Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever heard. Most of us have never. So what I've learned, most of us, you guys tell me if you've experienced this, but true hunger you feel in your throat and in your mouth. I found out what that was last week in my tongue. Like I had this sensation feeling in my tongue where I was drinking water and thought I was thirsty. And I was drinking 3 gallons of water and I still was thirsty. It wasn't until I drank the cantaloupe juice that I felt sensation. So then I juiced cucumbers and I felt full. Like it wasn't in my stomach, it was in my mouth. And I've heard this years ago that we've never known what true hunger is until you feel it in your mouth and throat. But this week, so every time I have that feeling, I just juice me some juice and it goes away.
Wow.
Yeah.
You juice every day?
Yes, ma'am. Every day, all day.
Wow. Well, that cleanup is ooh. Maybe I have to get another juicer. Yeah. Does your juicer require a lot of cleanup?
The one I got is pretty easy. It's not, I run a sink full of hot water and I just put the pieces in the hot water, let it sit 3 to 5 minutes, and just basically rinse everything off real good. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm being too fussy.
How's it doing for your blood pressure?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I went to the doc yesterday. I was normal. Yeah, they was surprised because they don't expect seeing a big guy, with good blood pressure. He just told me, man, whatever you doing, keep on doing.
Well, you can see it in your face, man. Skin look good. Skin look clear.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try it. Maybe get my hair black again. I don't know.
I know, right?
I'm gonna switch food.
I got an instant cure for that. It's called dye.
Dye.
Yeah, it comes in a jar, a bottle.
It actually comes in a tube. And you just put your comb on it and just comb your hair.
Yeah, but to me, it looked like you grabbed that. It looks like you take a Sharpie and go.
Yeah,
I tried it one time. I just said, nah, I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Shalom, everybody. Sorry, it took me a long
Shalom.
But I scheduled the live stream to start at 9:45. So hopefully it's gonna work. It's working so far. Hopefully hopefully I was done. So 9:45 we're gonna go live on YouTube. I just want to give y'all a heads up. The reason why I'm doing that is to try to build the channel. So building the channel helps me attract more Yasharala, which helps us all. Because the more of us return, well, the more of us get the information, the more of us can return. Let me get my screen right.
Professor Yasapa?
Yes.
How long is the live stream gonna go for?
Let's try to keep it within 45 minutes this time.
Okay, I'm gonna ask some very directed questions. 45 minutes, and the topic being this. So we have, since we have a tendency to run long in certain areas,
Yeah.
okay, trying to go through, so I'm also assuming that you're going to wish to try to go through in a quick way of going through demonstrating the whole process, correct?
Correct.
So with this time, we may want to temper the amount of time we spend doing certain things. Like while I wasn't here last week before last, we spent an inordinate long time going through all the versions, of a certain phrase, looking for the Hebrews 8 and 8. But in order just, if the purpose here is to condense it to pretty much illustrate the
I got you.
The process, the tools that you're using, that our goal should be here, and within that 45 minutes to get to kind of like quick to the point, either find the right verses that quickly call out the deception, or verses where we can really see the nuances and the differences in the language, but without really beating things to death. So 45 minutes, we're not really, I'm trying to think about planning out which tool do you think you really want to emphasize the most for this, so we can leave the most time to demonstrate that tool, but not take so much time that we fail to get to the rightful conclusion that we're trying to reach.
Can you give me your can you give me your analysis? I agree with what you're saying. Can you add to your analysis the factor of whatever information that comes out on this channel has to be thorough. So for example, today what I want to do is talk about shaving the beard or shaving the head.
Good one.
So can you give your analysis with that included? Because what's going to happen is that people, well, Apostle, what do you, we have new people, right?
Vern, but she probably knows. I did see some other people. I don't know where they are now.
Hi, and Peter, would you please turn on your cameras so we can see who you are? We can.
His brother Bay, he was with us last week.
Brother Bay, okay, Bay was okay. Noble Bay.
Yeah, he's the one in the carpet. He was the one in the carpet.
Noble Bay, are you still in a public place, or can you turn your camera on and your mic? Peter, please turn your camera and your mic on and introduce yourself, please. So Reggie, my concern is that if someone hears something on video, they're gonna say Zion Law School or Dr. Yasafa believes this, and that's kind of like the last thing I want somebody to say is
exactly. I get it. We want the scriptures to bring out what's really said. So I like your point, by finding the scriptures that speak about shaving, and then using your process, showing the verse, understanding what the words, we can do quickly go through word by word, for the verse in question to see what the verse really says. A brief take on, on understanding, as far as what it's telling us. Is it concrete or abstract? That understanding, and then, and then maybe I'm trying to think, concrete or abstract, i.e. your litmus test. And then I'm trying to think how much extra will be gained by going to the interlinear Bible. While we can do that,
let's save abstract concrete for class.
Okay, yeah.
Let's save that for class.
Okay.
Any other recommend? Well, were you finished, Reggie, or do you have more to add to it? I want to, I like what you're saying.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of before we go into it. It'd be a good idea if you know what main tools you think you want to emphasize, that we can try to you know, I can try to keep track of the time, and I'll track time again, just so we don't run out of time. Because again, within the 45 minutes, the goal is to quickly come out, see what Scripture says, make up points to all you're doing is using your process to rightly divide the word, rightly divide the word. And you know, this ain't about pushing any type of, it's not about pushing any type of doctrine. The Bible will speak for itself. The Hebrew text will speak for itself. And
you'll keep us on track?
Yeah, I'll try to keep us on track. You know, but if you have an idea of how you think you would like to end up, you know, again, I was going to say, if you knew exactly what tools, what processes you wanted to make, you wanted to show during this 45-minute segment, that's why. That way I can kind of keep these things in mind of what particular tools or processes you want to emphasize on. And that way I'll try to keep track of the time so we can either move on or whatever, just so we don't get too deep. Because if you go your normal route, we'll go through an exhaustive study, each and every word, each and every definition, each and every breakdown. And while those of us who've been here, students in your class, we're used to that, those who are watching aren't used to that. And so it may be very tedious. It would take them off track. So the real goal is to demonstrate the process, demonstrate how using that process often results in some new revelations, new light being known. One, simply because we don't know how to read. So,
okay.
And we don't know how to read Hebraically. So anything we can do to demonstrate the benefit, the value of learning how to read it Hebraically, and then learning what new insights we can get from this, you know.
Okay, great. Thanks, Reggie. Apostle, you have anything, any recommendations on the topic?
No, not right now. Reggie pretty much handled it. I don't know if you want to do an exclaimer, but other than that, I can't.
Yeah, exclaimer, right. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Al-Yashaba, you have any thing you want to recommend, or?
No, I like what Reggie is saying about not going through all of those translations. That takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that last week. That's what took up a lot of time. Also, remember at the end where we just let you go through the rest of them very quickly.
Right back.
I think that using, I don't know, maybe 1/2 of them or 1/4 of them would get the point across without going through all of the translations. So I agree with Reggie. I think his ideas are excellent.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Al-Yash. Peter, you need to turn on your microphone, your camera, Peter, and your microphone. Otherwise, I'm going to have to exit you from the class.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Peter?
I can hear you.
We hear
great.
you, but we need to see you, okay?
So I am trying to do my camera, and I don't know if you can see me or not.
No.
No, we don't see you yet.
I don't see you. Is this Judy?
No,
Oh,
this
I'm
is my
sorry.
first time on,
Oh,
So-
wow.
and I'm not.
Right down at the bottom, right at the bottom of your screen, on the left-hand corner, you should see a picture of a camera. It probably has a line through it. You
Right.
need to click on that camera.
Okay, it says that the web camera is original ratio. Start Zoom. I do apologize.
No, it should click now. Man, we got a echo.
Do you
So
see a
what we got-
line through it?
Are you using your phone?
No, I'm using my laptop.
Is there a line through your camera? A line?
A red line.
No,
A line through your camera?
there isn't. I'm trying to get into my settings because maybe my camera is off on
Oh,
the
Okay,
computer.
okay, you have to do that through your start menu.
She could
I
try
know.
disconnecting and coming back on, but we need to do it quick. Time is ticking.
Okay,
3 minutes.
thank you. Let me try again.
Yeah,
Okay. So, Apostle, I'm glad to hear that you're doing all right. A lot of
Yeah.
people reached out to me trying to get your contact info, but I don't have it.
oh,
So,
before we get off the air, man, let's Remy that.
yes, I was trying to get your phone number also,
Yeah,
but
let's take care of that before we
I
get off
couldn't
the air.
get it.
Yeah, I mean, before we close out, I guess after we get off the air, go live, I give that information out.
okay, thank you. All right, so I guess we can get started.
You know,
Shalom, Noble Bay, Cleveland,
Alawama Doc.
everybody.
I am so sorry.
Oh, Hadassah sent me an email saying she's gonna come back in March because
So I should put this.
she's in Cali, right? So I think she got up at 5 or 6 in the morning to join class.
Mm.
And then she had to leave this class early to attend another class she's already enrolled in.
And put it on the
So
door.
she
Yeah.
told me that it was too
Oh,
much.
okay. Thank you so much.
So she'll be back in March. So we'll see her again in March.
That's a good idea.
The
What
folks
about Brother Ben and his wife? Are they still with us?
Uh,
Yeah,
Brother
right,
Ben
good
and
idea.
his wife.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a good topic about the shaving of the head, right? And you notice that a lot of the Khazars have those real raggedy looking beards, right? They just grow, and a lot of Hebrew, a lot of Yasharala have their beard like that too. Real messy looking, it's just growing. Does anyone know if Ben is coming to class? Does anyone know how to reach Ben?
Yeah, I'll just
Give me a
brought
second.
Ben
I
up.
try to call her.
Okay. Thanks, Cleveland. So anyway, this is a very, very, very important topic. So I thought we would do it. It shouldn't take long. It's just a few verses. So anybody want to say anything about their experience with this topic before we get started? No? Okay, well, if that's the case.
Experience with this topic.
Peter, thank you. We see you, Peter.
Sure. Which way to go, bearded, unbearded? I used to struggle with it. Now I just kind of let the beard grow. I don't let it grow out on the side. That just looks too, I've got a job. I got a job that I have to do. So I just look a little bit too wild, but
And that's why it's important, because it affects grooming. What at least in the West,
yeah.
the idea of what being well groomed is, and if you have a job, then this becomes very important, right? Because if you have a big raggedy looking beard, it's gonna give a bad impression for you. Right?
Yeah.
If you have a job.
Especially if you work in a professional setting.
Yeah, yes. And then if you don't know and you trim the beard, you may carry the burden on your conscience, right? That you're doing something that you're not supposed to do. So it goes both ways, right? So let's get started. So can we have the elder men, do we have your permission to begin the course?
Con.
Khan.
Okay, thank you. So let's get started. Apostle, since you're the
Oldest.
senior man, can you start us off with verse 1 through 6? Verse 1 through 6, or better yet, 1 through 3, and then Reggie 3 through 6.
Okay. All right. Rules for the priest. Leviticus, what chapter is this? 21?
Yes.
No, 21. Okay. The Most High said to Moses, or to Moshe, speak to the priest, Kehan, and say unto Aaron, and say to them, a priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean for any of his people who die, except, verse 2, except for a close relative, such as his mother or father, his son or daughter, his brother, or an unmarried sister who is dependent on him since she has no husband. For her, he may make himself unclean.
He must not make himself unclean for people related to him by marriage and so defile himself. Priests must not shave their heads or shave off the edges of their beards or cut their bodies. They must be holy to their power and must not profane the name of their power. Because they present the food offerings to the Most High, the food of their power, they are to be holy.
Okay, thanks. Anybody see anything interesting like side points from verse 1 through 3?
Other than close relatives, mother, father, sister, brother, even the sister-in-law, if she's, or even his sister, if she's not married. Of course, if she's not married, she's dependent to the brother or her father, if her father's living.
Okay, so we can take it from that approach. We can take a reading comprehension approach to it. So if we look at that, the topic would be what?
The topic is for the priest, the sons of Aaron.
Yeah, okay, so the group being spoken to, the speaker is the Most High. The audience is the priest, right? Sons of Aaron. Okay. So the context is what? Touching people who die.
Right.
That's the context of what's happening. How do we deal with people who die? Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Then there's an exception for close relatives. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So context is people who die. The speaker is the Most High said to Moses, right? The audience, or the ones this information is going to be given to are the priests. Okay, it's a reading comprehension perspective. This is a side point. Side point meaning it's off topic or ancillary to the topic. I'm sorry, not there, but here. This is nation building. Laverne.
Yes.
Can you give us a commentary on verse 3?
No, I can't.
Noble
I'm trying
Bay.
I'm trying to process the rest of it.
Okay, Noble Bay. How does this relate to nation building? Or the strength of a family, the strength of a community? The responsibility of a brother to his siblings or to his sister. Al Yashaba.
Yes.
It's nothing profound. How does this, would you like to answer the question?
Are you speaking to me? I'm sorry. You're speaking
I'm
to
speaking
me?
to Al Yashaba.
Yes. You're talking about the unmarried sister. You're talking about, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
Unmarried
Yes.
sister who is what?
Yeah, because she's dependent on him. She's really,
She has no husband?
right. That's crucial. She has no help.
Right,
So
so what does her brother do?
my audio is so bad. Would you say that again?
Okay, so a priest has a sister who's not married.
Right.
So what does the brother do for his sister? It's saying it right here.
Okay.
There's not a trick question. Noble Bay, unmute your microphone, please, Noble.
Well, because of her dependency, it's necessary for him.
Islam, Noble Bay,
Can you hear me now?
can we hear you?
Okay, yeah, I'm still using public space for my classroom atmosphere. So, unmarried sister who is dependent on him.
On him.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I don't want to answer it because I'm not too sure. I mean, I know it's not a trick question, like you said, but
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, mute out Noble Bay so we won't get the noise, please.
okay.
Peter John, tell us how should we address you, because that's a male name. Unmute your microphone.
Old Testament, can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Great. In the Old Testament, everyone needed a tent and a covering. So the male was the covering for the entire household,
Mhm.
and the woman was the tent peg. She held the tent in place. So a woman who was not married or a woman who was underage and unable to be married was under the covering of the tent bearer or the man in control of the tent, which would be a father or a grandfather or a great grandfather, whoever the male was in charge of legal Hebrew age to be considered a male. So the sister would be under his charge and protection, and he would be responsible for her food, her shelter, her clothing, and her safety, and as well as her education, because the men were trained and then they were to go to teach the women and the women were to teach the children.
Excellent, excellent. Now that's very good. Now I have a question for you. So why is it putting it on the brother? What must be the case? Given what
Okay,
you said?
the case here is either that the father is deceased or is not at the home and the brother is in charge, or maybe the parents are deceased, or maybe the brother is the eldest and he's the first son and he would be in charge of taking care of the family and the sister, because legally he is the man in control if the father is too old or is not alive, or if there is not an uncle in the house.
Yes, excellent. And this still applies today. That's part of having not only a strong family, but a strong community and a strong nation. Okay, so our people don't have this attitude today, and we need to return to this. Okay, no woman who has a brother should go without, right, or have to struggle or live with somebody else, or But Apostle, you have anything on your mind?
Yeah, it's making me think of the book of Ruth, because even if she doesn't have a brother, it could be an uncle
Yes.
near she can that could serving that same role. In the book of Ruth is referred to as a kinsman redeemer. So
yeah. Yeah, so everyone sees how there should be no, well, let me not say, Peter, can you tell me how, I don't, is your name really Peter? I mean, I feel uncomfortable calling you Peter, unless that's your.
My name is in transition, so I have a Hebrew name.
Hebrew name is good.
Okay. It's Hillel, Hilel.
Okay, thanks. So Hillel, when you say tent and covering, can you clarify that for people who are not familiar with what that means?
Okay, and the Hebrew Israelite culture in the ancient days, we lived in tents and not homes or huts. And the tent represented the fact that we were always in transition. And excuse me, it started with Father Abraham because he was called out of his father's house when they lived in Shinar. And because he was in transition, he always was moving. So he had to take a tent with him. And the tent represented God being his covering, and that no matter where he went, that God would protect him and keep him. And I'm sorry, I don't want to go too deep into with Abraham and confusing anyone, but the fact that we traveled in tents was to remind us that we were always in transition, that this world is not our home. That is just a place that we are here to learn more about the Father and growing in trust and relationship with him. And
where did you learn that?
where did I learn that? Through reading the word.
That this world, we're only in transition here.
Professor?
Yes.
Well, when I say transition, I mean like in the Bible, it says in the Old Testament that God, the creator, Yahweh, God.
Dr. Yasapa.
Yes.
Dr. Yasapa, we are kind of going off, we're going off track.
Okay, yeah, I can stop now.
If I may, we're going off track. We're not even dealing with the context of the verse. The verse, if I may, the verse is dealing with the handling of people who have died. It's about, you know, if my sister dies, I have the right to handle her body, to become unclean. If we can keep it on context, because your family member, you're permitted to make yourself unclean. Read the next verse though. He must not make himself unclean for people related to him by marriage. So we're going off track. There's no need. Well, I see little value in going over covering that. This is about handling the dead.
I appreciate that. So
all right, come on, Reggie.
Moving towards shade. So let's keep focused. So,
all right, Reggie.
I got to be like on here.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
So thank you, Reggie. So to end that, when we moved into the promised land, we went into houses that we didn't build. So the tent and the house, as it regards to bloodline, represents our lineage, our family lineage. Okay, so thank you, Reggie. I appreciate that. And Peter,
thank you.
We can discuss it further, okay? Sis,
right.
If you want to come back to it later.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Good job.
Good job, Reggie. Good job, Reggie.
All
right.
Dr. Yasapa, real quick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, to excuse you, she said something that was just interesting. At the time, I think you just wanted her to expound on it, not to go off task, but she said something that was very interesting. That's all.
Yeah, and actually, this is one of the most important things for us right now. That concept right here, because our families are destroyed. We need to rebuild our families. Okay. Okay, so anyway, so 5, Reggie, could you do the honors of 5? And then we'll go to Deuteronomy.
Okay. Leviticus 21, verse 5. Priests must not shave their heads or shave the edges of their beards or cut their bodies.
Okay, so thanks. Now let's go to, anybody have anything you want to say about that? Let's go to Deuteronomy 14, if not. Reggie?
Okay. Deuteronomy 14. You are the children of the Most High, your power. Do not cut yourselves or shave the front of your heads for the dead. For you are the people holy to the Most High, your power. Out of all the peoples on the face of the earth, the Most High has chosen you to be his treasured possession.
Okay, so anyone, Reggie, you have anything you want to say about that?
I guess we can't trim the, well, we can't trim or shave the front of our heads for the dead. So I'm assuming they were probably signs of mourning for the dead. Maybe people would shave their heads or cut,
Right.
as part of their grief.
Excellent point. So these verses, in other words, these verses have to do with ceremonies or things that people would do in mourning for the dead.
For the dead. Wow.
Everybody see that, right?
Yes.
For the dead, Deuteronomy 14. Let's go back to Leviticus 21. The context was what? People who died.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
Wow.
So the context or this instruction has to do, these are prohibitions against shaving the beard or the head as a act of mourning for the dead. Anybody see it any differently?
No, when I read the text, that's exactly what it says. But I'd like to ask, how did it extend to being an overarching kind of rule of thumb directed for men, for no shaving, at all? Because I'm clearly reading this here. I'd kind of like to know. It's going to be interesting as we look deeper into the verse. Yeah.
So in other words, where did this so where did the doctrine come from? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at Leviticus chapter 19. Are you okay, Hila? Or can you tell me how to pronounce your name again? Hilia?
You said it correct.
Hilia?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you mind if I
okay?
explain what that means?
Reggie, we weren't trying to be rude to you. I apologize. This is your first day here, but usually I'll go off on a whole different, and so I asked Reggie to keep me on track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reggie,
He does an excellent job.
It's just that it's just that there was an objective you wanted to reach for this, and we have a limited time window. After that,
Yeah.
after the 45 minutes that we can do it, but let's try to hit your points to prove the case.
So we were not being rude to you. I apologize for that. This is your first day here, but we apologize. Okay. All right. So this is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27. Let me get that up in the regular English. What was that? Chapter 19, right? Was it? Did we already read that? No, that was 21. Leviticus 19. So let's look at 19. Oh, no, not there. Hold on. Okay. Leviticus 19. 27. 27. Apostle, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take it. Leviticus 19, verse 27.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, verse 27. Do not cut the hair at the sides of your head or clip off the edges of your beard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here in that context, what's happening? How does it differ from the previous verses that we read? Ben. Compare and contrast what we just read with Leviticus 19, verse 27. So you see the topic is still laws, right?
Mhm.
Okay, Ben is, Laverne, would you like to?
From what I'm seeing, it's more detailed on what that's how I feel.
Okay.
It's more detailed here than it was in the last one, the first one.
Does anybody agree with that or disagree with that? Is this more detailed?
It's more direct.
Right.
It doesn't give any explanations as to why. Just this verse here is just.
Hilla, why is that? Apostle said this doesn't. Apostle, can you restate that so that Hilla can do some commentary on whatever it is you're going to say?
Yeah, I said it's more direct. It doesn't give any, it doesn't explain any hypothesis one way or the other. It just says simply, do not cut the hair off, at the sides of your head or clip off the edges of your beard.
Okay, now
That's
look at verse 28 too, Apostle.
Okay, do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourself. Now it's adding to it. Now
Right.
it's making is giving instructions not to cut your bodies, not to put marks upon your bodies or tattoos for the dead. It says,
Okay.
I am the Most High. Do not degrade your daughter by marking her a prostitute. Or the land will turn to prostitution and be filled with wickedness.
Okay.
Some kind of way, I guess, to put tattoos and markings upon your body will lead to a degradation, not only for yourself, but to your children.
Okay, thank you, Apostle. Hillel.
Yeah, it means the praise of the Lord, and it's Hillel.
Hillel, okay. I'm sorry, I'll get it.
It's okay.
So-
You can call me Peter if it's more
No, I
comfortable.
don't want to call you Peter. Hillel is good. Can you give us your commentary on what Apostle said?
I don't know exactly what a commentary is, and I don't have any objective, but I can only tell you what I see. And so I see a list of things not to do as you enter an unclean land.
Yeah, but I want you to,
it's like, do not.
I want you to address what Apostle said. Okay. This is for thinking. Okay, and discussion. Yes.
I'm sorry, Professor, we've got 20 minutes. I'm going to be another direct question. The main topic deals with shaving of beards and edges for men. Why is there such concentrated time in getting opinions of the women on this subject, when clearly the subject matter at hand deals with men?
Okay.
How we're shaving. So if I may, just to put a comment out there, I am kind of direct. If we're going to get the juice, get the squeeze, where the juice really matters is on how men are reacting to this. We're the ones who are dealing with these particular verses at hand. So seeing that there are 3 other men on this panel, you got Brother Ben, Brother Cleveland. I'm more interested in hearing their opinions on this than that of the women, because it's particularly dealing with beards, shavings, things that affect us. So that's
let's let Hillel finish, and then we'll go to the men.
The reason it's said is because that the men represented and they took on the form and image of God, so they couldn't look like the people that they were usurping because God was throwing them out. So that's in a nutshell. They have to look like the men of God, and they didn't want to make a confusion by doing the other things that the men did to make themselves not look like the men of God.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So Cleveland, I would like for you to address this, but don't address, do an analysis of what Apostle said and what Hillel said. In other words, critique what they said.
It's all
What
right
was
if you
said
just-
is that this is general, right? Or this is more direct is what they said. Right, this is more direct. Okay, now verse 28. Well, go ahead, Cleveland, go ahead.
Well,
I'm
my first
going
question.
to show you something. Go ahead.
Well, my question is: this only dealing with the dead?
That's your question to
This
who?
only what to? Let me ask Brother Reggie. This only dealing with the dead, and that's it.
Not
Outside
this,
of dealing with the dead.
yeah. The funny thing is, this verse doesn't. I mean, the other one I saw clearly dealing with the dead. This one,
Unless
27 doesn't.
Brother
Right.
Apostle said, it's more direct
right.
But right here,
for
28 says, "Do not cut
everybody.
your bodies for the dead." So
No,
for
start at
somebody who wanted
27.
to,
Start at 27. Verse 27.
it says, "Do not cut the hair at the sides of your head or clip off the edges of your beard." But 28 says, "Do not cut your bodies for the dead."
Right.
So is all of this about just for the dead?
28 is.
Only 28 is.
Okay. Continue, Cleveland, please.
Oh,
Is that it?
truth be, I'm just trying. Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to understand.
Okay. Noble Bay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just analyzing everything that I said or I'm, witnessing. It's just kind of giving like a customary, traditional value of things that we've done, to honor the Most High. And as far as cutting the bodies, don't defile yourselves, keep the tradition, kind of stay, this is what ancestrally we've done to be at our best, per se, with the Most High and the traditional values of our culture.
Okay, so thank you, Noble Bay. Ben, you have anything you want to add to this?
Yes, Shalom, family. Hey, Shalom, Apostle Stanford. Good to see you.
Yeah. Shalom. Back to you, brother. Good to see you too.
Yeah, good to know that you're doing well. Because we're concerned about you. Yeah. I just want to say, when I see the verse, like Apostle Stan was saying, that it's more the work. It's more the work, right? Verse 28. I'm sorry, verse 27 seems to be more the work, and it's in my understanding based on what I'm seeing. It's totally different from what we read in Leviticus 21, because 27 is apparently not dealing with the dead, but it seems across the board, as a law for Israel. It's more across the board, okay? And the sister and the brother, Alia Bay and the sister made some good points, as far as to keep ourselves in line with our culture. That's what we should be. That's what we should be doing, according to 27, and not looking like the rest of the nations. And I heard something that sounded interesting. That maybe it's because we are the image of the Most High, and that's why we need to present ourselves as such, so that we can be, looked at as being separate from the nations. So it's pretty rather interesting. I've never heard such commentaries, but to me, that's good commentaries. You understand? And that's my take on it.
Okay. So thank you very much. Now let's go back to Deuteronomy 14, and then we'll consider some information about the book of Leviticus and the book of Deuteronomy. Okay. So we go back to Deuteronomy 14. What do we see? We see that the context is of dead for both what? For shaving the beard. Well, let's just say cutting the hair, either on your head or on your face. And then also for making cuts. Was it also making cuts?
Yeah, I thought,
Yeah. Do not cut or shave the front of your heads for the dead. Okay. Yeah, do not shave. Okay. What was the next one? I want everybody to see this. Okay. Again, don't cut your bodies. Right? So all of this was in the context of things that people do for mourning. Okay. And then when we went to Leviticus 19 and we look at 28, this is just a sentence, right?
Right.
It
Right.
says, do not cut the hair. It mentions nothing of the dead.
Right.
Right. That's just general.
But in 28, it mentions the dead. It mentions cut yourself or put tattoo marks, right? So it added tattoo marks. Two things we should not do in mourning ceremonies for the dead, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So do not cut your bodies. Okay, that would be flesh, but it leaves out hair. Everybody see that?
Right.
Come.
You see that, Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Yashiba, do you see that it leaves out hair?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the book of Leviticus? Let's see if we can. Apostle, do you remember
What,
what the
Leviticus?
book of Leviticus is?
I know it has something, it has something to do with the law. And
Yeah, hold
the
on.
priest,
Let me bring it up.
yeah.
I want to show y'all. Okay, so first thing we do what is put a date to anything, right? So that's 538. And remember, these dates are not firm. Okay, these dates are not firm. This is just what the scholars are saying.
Yeah.
But we still use it because everything has to be. You can do a better analysis if you put things in chronological order. Okay. So this is the third book of Torah. Okay. 538.
Looking at that date, that tells me that Moshe could not have written it.
Right, that's correct. That's correct, because remember, it was oral law.
Right.
Originally, these were oral, and oral history is more accurate than written history. That's a fact. Ooh, what did I put home? All right. Uh-oh. Okay, so what's the date on this one? Oh, let's go, okay. Ah, here it is. So this is the second. In other words, this is a reiteration of the first time it was spoken. Y'all see that?
Right. Deuteronomy. Right.
So what is so why is that significant? What does that tell us when we perform our analysis? Everything is the same from Leviticus, right?
Right.
It's the same information, just restated.
Repeat it, yeah.
Yeah, it's repeated, okay? Remember, it was oral and then it was written. Okay, so Moses spoke the law to us once, and then he spoke it a second time. That's what's happening here. Okay, so when we apply that knowledge to Leviticus 19:27, what do we know now about verse 27? It's the same as this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody see that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not as detailed.
Yeah.
One just gives more information than the other.
Yeah, he just didn't say dead, because one
Right.
reason might be what? Because everybody knew. But in the next verse, he says, he
Dead.
mentions the dead.
Right.
So everybody knew it.
Context.
Yeah, context.
So let me ask a question.
And also remember, periods were not, there's no period in Hebrew.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
No period.
punctuation in our
No
language.
Right.
punctuation. No punctuations, no verses,
Right.
chapters.
There's
None of that.
period, no question mark, no exclamation mark, no colon, no semicolon.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question then.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes.
Does
Okay.
this imply then outside of the dead, it's all right to mark our bodies, to tattoo our bodies, to shave our heads and shave our beards, as long as we're not doing it to the dead?
Well, what's the answer to your question?
Well, I can hypothesize from that.
We see
Based
what's
on
written.
what I see, I can see that as long as you're not doing it
For the day.
for the
Right,
dead,
right.
it seems that you can do it.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Now, this is the Jewish encyclopedia, okay? Can we have this read? Can we get a volunteer? Reggie, can you read this for us, or read the first paragraph, please?
Sure.
These right here, this is chapter, I'm sorry, this is a chapter, okay? When you see the Roman numerals, that's chapter. So can we have the first paragraph read, please?
Sure. The Hebrews gave much care to the cultivation of their hair, which they kept long. Compare Ezekiel X-Liv 20, except on such occasions as mentioned in Leviticus chapters. I won't read that stuff. And always well oiled, and accordingly considered baldness as a greater reproach than did the classical nations.
Before you continue, I have a question for you, Reggie. Would a white guy oil his hair? How would that look? Can you imagine that, a white guy putting oil in his hair? But anyway, let's continue.
Ain't that the same as pomade and slick, where they slick it back? Well, it's plastered in place, so it all depends. Let's see. Consider bald head as an abusive term. Nevertheless, baldness could not have been very rare. If it considered that the Egyptian wall paintings figure the old princes and chiefs of the Semites more often than not as bald-headed. The same conclusion can be drawn from such passages as Leviticus chapter 40 and 41. As Leviticus 13, chapter 40 and 41, where baldness on the crown is referred to, and baldness in front, euphemistically designated as a high forehead, it would seem. Names like Korea or Korah, which signify bald, are also quite common.
Okay, so can you summarize that, Reggie, in your own words, or what's the main point or the topic sentence in this?
Okay, we just hit the 45-minute time frame. That the Hebrews, again, very much cared about taking care of the hair. Being bald was considered a reproach. More or less, I think it just came out of habit, out of Egypt, more than
Okay.
anything else.
Okay, so let's do some analysis. Let's do some analysis here. Okay, so Ezekiel lived a long, long time after Moses, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this statement right here is what? Has nothing to do with what our ancient ancestors did prior to Ezekiel, because of Ezekiel, did everybody see that? The chronology?
Mm.
Hebrews gave much care to the cultivation of their hair, which they kept long. That's according to Ezekiel. How many years were we a nation before Ezekiel was born? So this has to do with what? Ezekiel's time in history. Everybody, is that clear, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So we cannot apply this to what happened anytime before Ezekiel. Anybody disagree or have a different viewpoint?
Nope.
And so this is the value of chronology. Okay. Now, what's the other point that is made? That the Egyptians were doing it. Okay. Apostle, can you take us through the next paragraph real quick, please?
Yeah. Most of the passages of the Old Testament, however, in regard to baldness, refers to the total or partial shaving of the heads as a sign of mourning, like cutting the beard, wearing sackcloth, and other disfigurements. In Deuteronomy, what's that, 14?
Yeah, 14.
Chapter 1, baldness between the eyes. Between the eyes? That,
How about the forehead?
that is perhaps on the forehead. Yeah, I thought maybe he was talking about the eyebrows, but.
Well, see, well, I won't say, but think that over with, right? Think that over with.
That is perhaps, right, the forehead for the dead is forbidding. To make baldness upon the head is specially prohibited to priests. Leviticus 21:5.
So again, remember who was being spoken to? Priest, not the house of Yasharallah, not all of us, just the priest. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Kohan.
All right. So it's the audience was the instruction applied to the priest and with respect to when people die. Okay, not all tribes. Did we finish reading? So Reggie?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Cleveland.
Numerous passages show that in pre-elect Israel, pre-exilic Israel, such shaving or clipping was general.
Now this is a prophet, right?
Right.
So this is not. So we have to what? Mark this, put this in proper perspective in terms of its chronology. This is a long time after we left Egypt, right? Long time after when Amos was born, okay? So this says nothing about those verses because of the chronology. Everybody see that?
Right.
Everybody sure? Y'all, everybody see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's continue.
Compare Amos.
Okay, go ahead.
Compare Amos, then Isaiah, Ezekiel, Micaiah.
Yeah.
A complete shaving, a baldness as the eagle, or rather vulture, compare RV margin is mentioned. Partial shaving of the corners of the head and beard is referred to as prohibited.
Now,
the long temple look.
Leviticus, right?
Right.
Leviticus, is that 21, 27? We read that. That's in the context of death, right? Context of death.
That's
Continue.
19, right?
That's right. That's
1947.
19, yeah, 19.
Mm,
19.
10 and 9.
That's
Huh?
the context of death too.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, there's nothing new added. This is just a restatement.
Right.
Deuteronomy is just a restatement.
Mhm.
Actually, that's what Deuteronomy means. Restatement. Okay, so continue.
The long temple locks of the Ashkenazim can be traced back to the passage, opposed to the custom wearing of temple locks is that of the desert tribe,
Temple locks.
of always cutting the hair at the sides of the forehead and neck.
Again, this is a
Compare,
prophet. So we place this in the chronology. This is a prophet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a long time after these instructions were given. Okay. So Herodotus, that guy is Greek, right? I think Herodotus is Greek.
Yeah.
Long time after.
Mm,
Has nothing to do with us.
Like
Continue.
somewhere between
yeah.
43 BC
Yeah.
for him.
Okay, Egyptian. Go ahead, continue, Cleveland.
Egyptian representations, see beard.
Okay, Reggie, can you finish it up here, please?
Okay. The morning custom of shaving the head is attributed to the Philistines. Reference Jeremiah.
Now again,
Okay.
Reggie, talk about the chronology of this relative to when the instructions were given.
Custom to the Philistines, to the Moabites.
So this is according to Jeremiah, which was a long time.
Long, yeah.
Right.
It's long after the Levitical book of that, yeah. The
Okay.
customs of most ancient nations were analogous. If Herodotus, Greek, is to be trusted, the Egyptians formed an exception and shaved the head regularly, but allowed the hair to grow in mourning. They allowed the hair to grow in mourning. See, however, of these statements of the Herodotus, which is stated at least too general a nature to warrant definite conclusions. So I guess the Egyptians pretty much kept their heads clean shaven all the time, but when you were in mourning and you were sad, you're allowed to just kind of like let yourself go. I think that's what it's kind of saying.
Yes. So what are the takeaways from this? What are the key points from this? Who the instructions regarding shaving your head and your beard apply to who? We go back to
Primarily to the
Yeah, the people of the Most High.
Well, let's take a look at it. Okay, verse 21, you want to go ahead and read that? This is Deuteronomy, this is Leviticus 21. Reggie, go ahead and read. Tell us who the audience, tell us who's speaking.
Okay. The Most High said to Moses, speak to the priest, the sons of Aaron. So that's the audience. For the
Who's the audience? Emphasize it, please.
The priest, the sons of Aaron, Levites.
Yes.
So who the instructions apply to?
The Levites, the sons of Aaron.
They apply to the priest.
To the priest.
Continue.
The priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean for any of his people who die, except for a close relative such as his mother, father, his son or his daughter, his brother, or an unmarried sister. But notice he cannot make himself unclean for people related to him by marriage. So does that mean his wife, her relatives? So he can't.
Right,
So they must tend to their dead.
right.
Must
It's
tend to
not, it's
their
not blood.
entire family, yeah.
It has to be blood. Blood relatives.
Let's continue.
Priests must not shave their heads or shave off the edges of their beards or cut their bodies.
Oh, Yasha, but who must not?
Priests must not shave their heads or shave off the edges of their beards, cut their bodies.
So all of this has to do with the priest, not
Yeah,
all of
it's-
the house of Yasharala.
Right.
Yeah, these are the laws for the priests, rules for the priests only.
Levites.
Actually, it even tells you that right there, right?
Yeah, not others. These are for the priests.
Just for the priests. Okay, now here, remember we saw that other verse about prostitution? Verse 7, they must not marry a woman who's defiled by prostitution,
Mm-hmm,
right? So we deal with prostitutes about being, being clean. right?
yeah.
So that's also mentioned in one of these. Oh, here it is. Prostitution, but in a slightly different vein, but still prostitution is mentioned, right? So this is a restatement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a restatement. Okay, of course, it's not going to be word for word. It's a restatement of the oral law.
However, Professor,
Yes.
the statement about only going to the priest, if you look at Exodus 19:6, the KJV, for ye, as far as all you people, ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou art to speak unto the children of Yasharal.
Yes.
From Exodus 19:6. So I think that's where that's where that verse, which was again directed and applied only to the priest at the time, how it literally extended itself to everybody. For you're going to be a kingdom of priests.
Right. After what? What's the context?
Oh, after.
For those people who don't know, what's the context of that?
That from Exodus after
Going
For
into
some
the
reason,
promised
my
land.
web
Right?
browser is
Going into the promised land.
going into the promised land.
And what has to happen before what's the key word there? Shall, right? Shall means will. So that's future tense.
True,
But there's
yeah.
also- yes, there's also a condition, right?
Something has
There's
to
a
happen.
condition. So it's future tense with a condition. So let's take a look at that. All right. Oh, here we are.
Verse 6, yeah.
Verse
Yes,
5.
that's right. Verse 5. Now, if you obey me fully and keep my
Okay, so let's talk about if. What is if?
Yeah.
conditional.
Yes.
Conditional, right. Okay, continue.
Now, if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to Yasharal.
So keywords are what, Reggie?
One is now. Another one is if.
Yeah, will be.
Another one is obey. If you obey me now.
Yeah.
And fully.
And fully.
Fully.
Right. So we see.
Deviating neither from the left or the right.
Yeah. So we are not a kingdom of priests yet. This is future. Right. This is future.
Yes.
If the condition of if we follow the Most High's instructions, He's going to do what? Give us all those blessings, right? We return to the land, then we become this kingdom of priests as a nation, all of us. But for right now, where were we? We were where? In Leviticus.
In Leviticus.
We were out of Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were coming out of Egypt, and we were what? In the wilderness, right? Trying to make our way to the promised land. Sorry, y'all. I guess some people in my place are fighting. Do y'all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear it a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Control what
I
you
have
can
no
control.
idea what you're saying. I don't speak the language, but anyway, So this has to do with the priest. Well, I tell you what, Apostle, can you summarize this for us? Now,
Yeah.
remember, this is not what we believe, right? Or what our whatever organization you might be associated with is. This is not a doctrine issue. We're just looking at this according to the literature. Okay. So, Apostle, can you summarize, please?
Yeah. Leviticus 21, starting at verse 1. As Reggie said earlier, the Most High is speaking to Moshe, giving instructions that he's to speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, accordingly, what they must do in terms of dealing with the dead, according to the law, the ceremonial law, dealing with what is clean and what is unclean. That they should not cut the corners of their beards or shave their head, except for dealing with close relationships. And it goes on to explain mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers. And it adds your sister that's under your care and protection, since she's not married. However, it gives a outliner that this does not include your relatives through marriage. That's up to verse 4. Then it goes direct to the priest, what he must not shave his head or shave off the edges of his beard or cut their bodies with marks like some Hamites do. They must be holy to the Most High. Their power must not profane the name of the Most High. So it hypothesized that shaving your head, cutting your beard will profane the Most High's name.
In what context? In what context?
In the context, if this is not done according to the specifications of the law.
Which are what?
Except for those close relatives, such as mother, father, son, daughter, brother, and the sister that is not married.
Okay, thank you, Apostle. Reggie, can you add to that anything that was missing or to clarify? If not, Cleveland.
I was just going to look up the meaning of the word profane as a verb. That's all. I just think about it as meaning cursing something out. So I was trying to get a more clearer understanding of the word profane.
Okay, thank you. So Cleveland, can you add to that summary the main points the audience who might be watching this now or in the future should know? If you don't have anything, Ben or Noble Bay.
This is rules for the priests, talking to the priests.
Yes, rules to the priest.
Yeah.
I have a question for you,
Yeah.
Cleveland. Do we know who the priests are? Do we know who's in that priestly bloodline right now? Nobody knows, correct?
No.
Heritage was
right
lost.
now.
Heritage was lost.
Okay, got it.
Anything else, Cleveland, or?
No, sir.
Okay, Noble Bay, you have anything you want to
Professor?
say? Anything? Yes.
Yes, hi. Looking at the definition of profane, something that is profane is concerned with everyday life rather than religious or spiritual things. That's as the adjective, but as a verb, if someone profanes a religious belief or an institution, that means to treat it with disrespect.
Okay, okay, thank you. Now, remember at this time, when the instructions were given, we were not dealing with religion, right?
Correct. Yeah. So maybe the most, it was maybe considered to be a sign of disrespect.
Yes, disrespect. That would be better content. This is civics, everyone. This is civics because we're dealing with a contract that governs how a nation of people interact with each other in commerce, and how property is transmitted. That's what's happening here. No religion. Go ahead.
I did want to add, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Noble Bay.
Yeah, just looking at the overall gist of everything, it seems as though that there's keeping the cultural trend to keep the covenant, to keep everything in its, I guess, best perspective for that
Yeah.
frame, like you said, for the priesthoods moving forward, to keep everybody, to keep that holy covenant.
Excellent, excellent. This is herediment. How do you pronounce it? Herediments or something. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's what. Go ahead, Noble Bay.
Oh yeah, you were right. Hereditament.
Herediments. Yes, that's what this is, right?
Yes.
This is herediments. Things we do related to our culture and our law, civics. No religion here. Okay, no religion here. Ben, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I wanted to go back. The question was asked if we know who are the priests today, Levitical priests. But I was thinking about the Lemba tribe in Zimbabwe. You know, there's many documentaries and many writings that says that they're the priests of old. They belong to that label. You know, so I don't know if you want to touch on that, if you have any information on that.
Okay. All right.
Fine. Yeah.
Thank you. Halil, you look like you want to say something. You look like you've been waiting to say something.
I dare not speak.
No, go ahead, Reggie. Let our sister speak without interrupting her, please. Go ahead. We want to hear.
I was just saying to myself and in my thoughts that the rules for the priests, as Moses was the leader and represented God, and he was speaking for God to the priests whose service was to God. I see the verse in 5b. It says, because they present the food offerings to the Lord, the food of their God, they are to be holy. So as they are taking the offerings and putting them on the altar, they cannot be ceremonial unclean, which would be verse 21, 1b, where it says a priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean for any of his people who die, because if they do that, then they would be unholy and not able to offer the offerings to the Lord.
Thank you very much. So the whole purpose of shaving, in the context of mourning for a death, only has to do with being clean to perform one of their priestly functions. Right? Has nothing to do with any other tribe. Hope everybody sees that.
Right.
Because the other tribes are not involved in priestly functions, right?
Right.
Excellent point.
Only Levi.
Excellent point. All right, so I think that's it. Laverne, did you want to say anything? Anyone have any closing comments they would like for the audience to keep with before we close this out?
I had one thing to say.
Okay.
I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to be quiet. Please forgive me. I am seriously introverted, but I would like to say it keeps sticking out in my heart that because God is holy, that we as his people, even when we were brought out of a holy situation as Egypt, are to become holy. So he was training us and purifying us to be holy and showing us how in the nation without religion to be holy to God so that we can have that relationship with him.
Okay, so thank you very much. In this course, we don't use titles like G-O-D, uppercase or lowercase, or L-O-R-D because of the etymological meanings. It invokes deities, but we'll have that discussion later. Okay.
Thank you.
We use Most High or something, some synonym to that as an appellation for the Most High, okay? And one of the reasons why we do that, Reggie, can you give us, if you don't mind, can you finish that up?
I don't have the verse. I can't pull the verse up out of my head in question.
Well, it's okay.
I don't care to really like speak off the cuff.
That's
Without bringing the verses up, but you're the Most High is jealous for his people. He's jealous for his name. It's like if you are my woman, and you're busy speaking about another man, or even on your lips, he don't even want to hear that. That's kind of like how it is. That's exactly how it is when it comes with the Most High and his people.
right. Thanks, Reggie. So God is rooted in history. God is a deity rooted in history.
Yeah.
Woden.
Odin. The Norse god.
Right.
Father of Thor and Loki and Loki, Valhalla, that type of stuff.
So the name changed since the Middle Ages. Now that deity's name is spelled God, and they put it in the scriptures. Okay,
Right.
so we don't call we don't speak the deity.
Yeah.
Also, LORD has a similar etymology
From
in-
Baal.
Right, and the
Baal's
text
above, Lord of the Flies.
There's a Hebrew word for the God, whether it's singular or plural, and basically is translated into the word power or powers.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say that.
Yeah, but we'll do that during the course.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, Apostle.
Now, I was saying that the God, rather, is by that looking at it, is singular. So the word is Allah, and it basically means power. Ezekiel 39:7, the Most High warns us about using names and calling on those names, which actually pollutes his name. And so you can read that for yourself.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 39.
And then there's another one where he says even to abuse his names, he will never forgive us. There are sins that there are things you can't be forgiven for.
Yes.
That's kind of like one of them. But was that in?
So when we evoke these demons, when we evoke these deities, it puts us in violation of the very first commandment or the first instruction. Okay, so it sounds simple, but it's like the biggest deal. Okay, it's the biggest deal, and also we're not supposed to speak it. So anyway, so let's close this out. Everybody finish? Anybody else have anything that they want to say? We can get to the Deuteronomy course now. Anybody have anything they want to say before we close it out now?
It was an interesting lesson. I'll taking a look at that when you really reading that verse in context. I used to struggle with it a lot about not shaving at all and looking like an absolute beast, not shaving at all. And then when to shave. I'm still kind of dealing with it because, right now, as I'm trying to sing jazz, I'm kind of trying to think about, well, do I keep the beard, lose it, whatever. So, but it's great now that I really look at these verses in context. And
so this is completely different than what they're teaching.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah. So I was gonna say crack. I was gonna say about a crack on you that it's okay for you to look like a heathen with the clean shave.
Hey, Reggie.
Yes, sir.
I wonder what we will find if we did the same thing about tassels.
Yep. I agree. It's amazing what we'll find.
I wonder what we'll find.
Well, you see, the instructions are real easy to follow.
Yeah.
Real easy to follow. We don't have a whole bunch of. It's easy.
Okay. You know what, Professor? It's good that you brought this out. Because I'm just gonna tell you, a lot of the corner boys, they'd be like, "Wait, what you listen to that heathen? He got his shaved head and shaved face and."
Yeah, you hear people
all the time
talk about where your beard at. Right? Why you trim your beard? This is a big deal.
What do you do when you can't grow one? I mean,
or ask the same
everybody
thing.
can't. Mine won't grow here. No matter what
someone told me. Someone told me.
I have a question. I see so many men going around with their beards. They're just so unkempt and so ungroomed.
That's why.
I think that they're misreading the context.
We fail to learn how to really read everything
exactly
and dissect it, just like we just did today. So
he gives specifically, not the edges, and he's very, very specific about it. He doesn't say you can't trim it and groom it, and some of them are so unsightly because they're just afraid to even touch their beards at all.
Well, they say the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and the good things we fear the Lord enough to try to follow him. But again, because we've been raised in the United States educational system, and we really don't know how to read and read critically, but it's
exactly.
Anyway, what we demonstrated today was some of the methods taught in this class is a good way to really get to help you get a more comprehensive, a more thorough understanding of what the scripture, of what is actually to be found in the scriptures. Mm-hmm. But it takes a lot, where we went over now, we didn't go deep into the meaning of the words, but El, I think when you took us to those articles, we got a lot of good context in terms of the sense of the chronological, understanding the time frame in which certain things are written about our scriptures. So with that in mind,
I'm going to give you guys something to think about, or something to do if you want to do it. Well, no, I won't. Maybe next time I won't. Well, I remember there was one popular YouTuber, Hebrew YouTuber. This guy actually said that only Hebrews can grow a full beard. And if you can't grow a full beard, you're not Yasharala. He actually said that.
Is that what he said? That's the mark. That's the landmark. That's the identification. What a Hebrew is.
A lot of people are thinking that. And I didn't say anything. I just listened, And he said he had his evidence. So.
Well, let me say this. There's a group on YouTube, and I think it's all right. I talk about people, and I don't shy away. I ain't gonna say nothing behind nobody's back that I can't say in front of their face. So they're A&W, Ancient Watchmen. They are all Hispanic group, and they say that they are Yasharala, and anybody from Africa, Negro, is a Hamite. So
yes, I heard that.
Their proof was the fact that I can't grow a full beard. He showed me, Mexican brother, how he grew a full beard. He called mine a goatee. So I said, well, bless the Lord. I thank the Most High for what he give me. I still look pretty at 65. Soon to be 66.
But what we just went through just identifies what that person said as ridiculous, right?
Yeah, crazy. Crazy. I mean, it's
it has
crazy.
nothing to do with the instructions. Absolutely nothing to do with the instructions. a lot of what people are doing is following the Khazars. They read the Khazars commentaries.
Mhm.
The rabbinic writings, right? And then they're doing that.
Right. The
Okay, and then-
Talmud.
yeah, and then teaching our people how to be Jewish, basically.
Yes.
Right.
And there's a big difference between a Judean and a Jewish person.
Yeah.
Jewish is religion.
Right.
Judean is what? Bloodline, nationality, connected with
Mhm,
landmass and culture, language, right? Hereditaments, hereditaments, land, okay? Cleveland, did you get that? Go ahead, Hilal, what did you say?
I heard what you said.
Okay, all right. So let's get into our lesson. I have a question for where's Laverne?
Right here.
Laverne, what is the difference between Jewish and Judean?
Jewish is a religion.
Okay.
And Judea is
A people, a nation.
that's what I was going to say. It's a nation.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you know, the key is the ish on there, you know? What's
Right.
the ish about? If you're a Jew, why don't you say I'm a Jew? What's the ish about? And that right there is a tip off, you know?
Right. Somewhat like, but not quite. It's like being brownish.
Yeah, brownish, reddish, ish,
Right.
you
You
know?
know, ish, meaning somewhat like, but not the exact.
But not really.
Right.
So
So,
you can,
so they have a mental outlook or religious identity.
You're neither here nor there.
and it's not
Minus
even,
physical.
but it's not even just religious. I am English,
Right.
Swedish,
Yeah, ish.
Knock
Yeah.
Polish.
Knock off.
But Polish. But the thing is, most of that describes language. English describes the language
Right.
of Great Britain.
Mm.
See, so you know, even Polish describes the people of Poland itself. But that's not quite the same as saying Jewish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because that just confines totally a belief
Mm-hmm. It's
system.
neither here nor there.
Right. And those that obtain that philosophical idea are of the seed of Japheth, Gomer, and Ashkenazi.
Mm.
So they're not Shemites. They're not of Shem. So they're not Abraham's seed.
For sure.
They are heathens.
I
The
like
Bible
that word.
called them the Gentiles
They're heathen.
that would dominate our land until the end of the time of the Gentiles.
There you go.
Japheth shall dwell in the tents of Shem.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can get that in Ezekiel 36. And if you're New Testament, Luke 24:21, how they conquered it by the sword. And that was the birth identity blessing of Esau, that he will conquer through the sword and by blood.
And that's how he lives.
Right. We see that. They will even
Uh-huh.
turn on each other and get very bloody. We just experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not kings and priests yet. That's am I correct? And not until we obey.
Right. We still under the curses.
Yes, and we go around and in the streets, you know, they see me say, "Hello, Queen." No, I'm not Queen yet, you know, and that's what we're doing to one another, bowing
Right.
and calling each other, "Hey, hello, Queen." It's ridiculous.
Princes, priests.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, actually, when the etymology of queen is whore.
Yeah, quite bad.
It's
Yeah, it's
whore.
hard. Yeah.
So we shouldn't call each other. We shouldn't call our women queens because the
No.
etymology is whore.
You know, I find
So
a lot of Yasharala superstitious, man. Superstition.
yeah.
A whole lot of them. And they borderline on astrology.
Mhm.
I don't
On
mean
what?
astronomy. I mean, they borderline on astrology.
Yes, they eat it up.
Right. And they get into things that we're not supposed to get in, like divination.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And the Bible strictly speaks against divination.
Yes. Well, we had astronomy. That's not astrology.
Right.
Astronomy. I like that. Hi, I'm a Libra.
That's astrology.
Astrology.
Okay, so y'all ready to get started with the lesson? I think we're still on YouTube. I'll let it go for a little bit. If anybody on YouTube wants to come in to the classroom, you're welcome to come into the classroom. The link is in the description box, I think. Is the link in the description box or is in the comment section to enter into the classroom? Does anyone know?
I don't see, I normally used to have a little button that would bring me to the link on YouTube. I'm trying to find it.
Can someone check YouTube to see if there's a link to come into the classroom?
Sure, I'll check.
Thanks. Oh yeah, I'll check.
Yes, there is a link. It's up. It is active now.
Okay, thanks, Reggie. So if anyone wants to come in, click on that link. You're welcome to come into the classroom. All right, so.
Oh, wow. We have some folks. Darrell-El, Oliver Christopher, some other folks. A couple of folks are.
So if you're on YouTube, you're welcome to come into the classroom and participate. Okay. Hey, Reggie, I don't see their names. If you want, you can invite them. I don't see their names.
Hi, okay. Let's see. So, all right.
Anybody remember where we left off at? I know we did the first word.
I think we did the
Normally, what
first.
we would do when we start a class, we would read the Ibriat. Okay, this is the original biblical Hebrew. We would read it. But we read it last class. And I want to move ahead, so we won't read it this class. We did this first word. I know we did the first word. Did we do Amma Apostle?
Unless y'all did it when I wasn't here last week.
Was it in last week?
We did or we did not? It's an easy one, so we'll start with Amma. So who came in?
You know, I think Cleveland did that.
Huh?
Cleveland, do you remember doing this work?
Yeah, Cleveland did do Amma.
Yeah.
Shalawama Ben's wife.
Shalom, everyone. I've been here listening, but just getting on the on my tablet.
Okay.
Good to see
Okay, so-
everyone. Good to see you, brother. You know, heard you were sick, and we've been really concerned.
Yeah,
I think somebody may have two microphones on. I heard an echo. Let me make sure it's not me. I don't think it's me. It's not me.
It's not me.
Okay. So who wants to get us started?
I can
with
do
this
it.
Phoenician Hebrew word.
I can do it.
All right. Apostle, present as though you're teaching our new observers how to present. Okay, please. Thanks.
All right. Hebrew word laha. It's a part of speech is adverb, negative,
Participle.
Participle.
Participle. Part of what? Particle, right? That's the best I can do with it. From the 1611 KJV, authorized version, is translated not. The same as in the gloss, is translated as not to the English. The word again is laha. Strong's number 3808. The strong number is the corresponding number in the Strong's Concordance exhaust that allows you to look up the word. Each number is sequenced. Each letter or word is sequenced by a number in the Strong's. The primitive particle not, the sample or ABS abs negation by implication. Something, did it move?
Yeah. We need to go back up.
Go back up.
Go
Go
back
higher.
up.
Yeah, okay. By implication, no, often used with other particles from the Browns-Drivers-Briggs, which is academia college level concordance dictionary that we also use in this class. 1A, not, with a verb, absolute, prohibition. 1B, absolute, prohibition, whatever. 1B, not, with a modified negation, that word is bothering me, negation. 1C, nothing, is substantive. 1D is without or with particle. 1E, before, dealing with, I guess, time, of time. An explanation of la'a negates the action of the verb that comes immediately after it. So it negates the action of the verb that comes immediately afterwards. Stated another way, Allah negates the action of the verb it is associated with, which is, in this case, is tasha ma'ai. Tasha ma'ai.
Very good. So particles, they have meaning only when they're associated with another word. So negation, everybody know what negation means? let's look it up so we can have a clear. Okay, let's get a precise meaning for negation. Adaya, please. Okay. Al-Yashaba, negation, please.
Negation. It says no definition. Oh, what did it say? It's a noun. The contradiction or denial of something.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, the absence of opposite of something, actual or positive.
Okay, so now let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Is that Deuteronomy 28?
28.
So verse 15.
Deuteronomy 28, 15.
I think we're here. Let me go with this is okay. Yeah, so here we are. But it shall come to everybody see verse 15.
But it shall come.
Yeah, if not, you obey, right? Okay, so not obey. Okay, that's the connection, right? So let's go back to the document. Oops. You'll see it when we get down to the next word. So is this clear? Oops. Okay, la'a, negative particle, adverb. So it's going to negate the word that comes after it, right?
Negative.
Right, the negative of, which means what? No, not, nothing, without, so on and so forth.
Right.
We see it here, what? Absolute prohibition. We see these in some of the instructions, right? The commandments, we see absolute prohibitions. You must not.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You must not this, you must
not.
steal. Right, absolute negation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. That was an easy one. Okay, Reggie.
Yes. Yes.
Present this one, please.
Okay. The next word, Thasha Ma'ai. Hebrew, Phoenician Hebrew word. Thasha Ma'ai. Part of speech, it is a verb form 1. Imperfect, second person masculine singular. From the King James 1611 accepted version, it means hearken. From the gloss, it means you will obey, the more widely accepted term, academic term. Its root word is shama'ai, Strong's number 8085. Shama'ai is a primitive root that means to hear intelligently, often with implication of attention, obedience, etc., causatively to tell. From the Brown Driver Briggs.
Well, I have a question. So when we see this, what is that telling us?
Is that etc.?
Yeah, what is it telling us? When we see that, what is that telling us?
Continue as in.
And so forth.
And so forth, continuation.
So as a lexicographer, well, no, as someone who's translating, what does that tell you? As someone who's translating or rendering. Y'all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So we have somebody new. Go ahead, read, please, Reggie.
Okay, etc. The English abbreviated to whatever is a Latin expression that is used in English to mean and other similar things, or and so forth.
So what does that tell us? Hold on, la med. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's hello. So what is this telling us?
It means and so forth, and so kind of like and so on and so forth.
And other similar things.
Other similar things.
So if we know the concepts on how to construct these meanings, how do you apply that, Reggie?
Implication of attention, obedience, and other similar things, causatively to tell. I'm going to be frank, I don't know how to apply that. It looks like it leaves a lot of room for ambiguity.
Okay, Noble Bay, how do you apply this?
I'm sorry, repeat the question. How do you
Okay,
apply?
Reggie, can you present the question to Noble Bay? Bambino, Reggie, Shalawama, please turn on your camera and unmute your microphone. Reggie, can you?
Yes. Noble Bay, the question was the term etc. referenced by the letters etc. Dr. Yusapa is asking, how do we apply that term when we see the term etc. used in a sentence?
Let's go back to the meaning of it. Refresh your memory. Go ahead. Read, please, Noble Bay.
Etc. Abbreviated to etc. is a Latin expression that is used in English to mean other similar things or and so forth. So it's kind of saying, well, not kind of, it is saying like, well, it doesn't stop there. Like it could continue on to other things that are similar, whether it be synonyms or like more meaning based upon that base. So it's just, it can continue on.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Now, if you know how how these meanings are derived, if you know the concepts, what can you do?
You can construct and build upon.
Very good. Continue. You can construct what?
You can construct new words based upon the root, because I know you were mentioning that the root word is like a building block, and it's nothing by itself. Am I correct? Like it has to be added to something else. Am I on the right track? Hello? Can you hear me?
My microphone was muted.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. So this is an example of the lexicographer, the people who wrote the Strong's, telling that if you know the concepts, you can add your own meanings here as long as you follow the concepts.
Right.
So that's why we, as the House of Yasharallah, we need to learn how to translate, how to render, right? We need to learn the language. Okay, so in other words, we're just not limited to what these lexicons tell. Okay, this is an admission here. But if you don't know what that means and you don't know how to apply it and you don't understand the concepts of how these meanings are put together, then you'll never know that. But now that you know, you have power. If only if you choose to use it. Only if you choose to use it. Okay, Reggie, so let's continue.
Okay. From the Brown Driver Briggs, the word means, sorry, it's verb form one definition 1A, to hear, to perceive by ear. 1A1, to hear of or concerning. Or to hear of or concerning language. 1A5, to hear of judicial cases. 1A6, to listen, give heed. Going down the page. Okay. 1A2, and slide up just a little bit. Okay. 1A2, to hear, as in to have power to hear. 1A3, to hear with attention or interest. Listen to. 1A4, to understand. 1A7, to consent, agree. 1A8, to grant request. 1A8, to listen to, yield to. 1A9, to obey, be obedient. Verb form 2, definition 1B1, to be heard of voice or sound. 1B2, to be heard of. To be regarded, be obeyed. Verb form 3, to cause to hear or summon. Verb form 5, 1D1, to cause to hear, tell, proclaim, utter a sound, to sound aloud, to make a proclamation, summon, to cause to be heard, sound, as in a noun masculine.
Okay, so thank you, Reggie. For the audience, these verb forms perform a specific grammatical function. In volume 3 of the Deuteronomy chapter 28 book, we have a table that outlines very succinctly, in a very easy to understand, short, easy to understand way, what these verb forms mean. In other words, the function of them. Does anybody remember the function of verb form 1? Simple action, active voice, right? Simple action, verbs that express what? Simple action, active voice. So if you want to use a word to express a simple action in the active voice, you would follow the what? Well, you would put it in verb form 1, okay, which only means that you're gonna spell it in a certain way. Verb form 1, they have a unique spelling. Verb form 2 has a unique spelling, okay? But that's for another class. We went through this in one of the other classes. Verb form 2 has a specific function, okay? It expresses a specific action and a specific voice. Action has a meaning, voice has a meaning, and all of that is in the volume 3 book, Deuteronomy chapter 28. I can read volume 2, right? Yeah, volume 2. That's in volume 2. This is volume 3. Okay, so Reggie, do you want to go through a discussion about these meanings, or is it too simple?
We can have a discussion of the meanings of the word harking. One tool that we didn't mention in the last one is kind of like the litmus test. Is it a concrete, practical definition from the different verb forms that they present below, or are they more or less abstract?
Okay, let's take a look at it. Is everybody okay? Are y'all getting bored, or y'all okay?
Good.
So that's Strong's number 80, verse 85, right?
8085, yeah.
Okay, I got it up on the screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty much what I have.
Yeah, it's almost easier looking at the other form than from here, reading from this here, from your book.
Okay. You know what? I forgot to do this. Let's go ahead and read verse 15.
Okay. Verse 15, Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High, thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee. And I think my thing is, I think overtake thee. Let me think, yeah, and overtake thee. Let me move myself.
So this is the verse in English that we're considering, everyone. Sorry about that. That's my mistake. I should have done that first. Okay, and we're looking at hearken.
Yeah. So when it
Yes.
comes to an understanding of the term hearken, if you slide down to the various verb forms, we can go through what is known from these definitions, go through what is known as what Dr. Isop refers to as his litmus test. Is it a true Hebraic meaning? Is it concrete, or is it more abstract Greek meaning? Something that's in your head. So, and demonstrating the litmus test, they go through, the litmus test is really, does it meet one of the, is what's being represented there meet, can it be demonstrated through one of the five senses? You know, can you see it? Can you touch it? Can you hear it? Can you smell it? Can you, am I missing a sense? See, touch, hear, smell, taste, I guess.
Taste.
So, with respect to this word harking, 1A is definitely concrete. To hear of or concerning, I'm not quite sure how concrete that is, or you know, or I heard about something in the past. I guess if you actually heard it, it would be.
Can you put that in your hand?
No, you can't put concerning in your hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can what, sense this through your what?
Through your ear.
So we know this is concrete. But we have a specific methodology. Let's say the methodology, the specific set of questions for class, Reggie. So let's just right now give, let me correct. I guess that's okay. You want to continue, Reggie?
Yeah, they were just going down. I'm not going to dig through there, but going down to all the definitions of that verb form.
Okay.
Which one of these is actually concrete? To hear or you know, to have the ability to listen, but sound. If you can hear something, that is concrete. But to have power to hear sounds more abstract. You can listen intently to hear with interest or you can hear with attention, I guess, or interest. I don't know. It does that be? Are they making it more and more abstract when they say hearing with attention or interest? Because I can't really see or tell.
Reggie,
I wouldn't know whether somebody.
Ask a scholar.
Apostle.
Yes.
The terms to hear with attention or interest or listen to is would you consider that is that a concrete or an abstract understanding or an abstract definition?
I would say for the purpose of intent, interest,
To understand.
To understand is concrete
I would
because
say concrete.
it implies an action behind it. It's just not hearing something, but it's being attentive, understanding what you hear, and then responding to what you hear.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have to stick to the precise meaning of concrete and the precise meaning of abstract.
Okay.
Okay. We're only dealing with the precise meaning of concrete and the precise meaning of abstract. Okay. So, Apostle, in that case, you would have to, your comments would not apply because it does not follow. They didn't
I'm
follow.
ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of myself.
Okay. So
I'm ahead of myself.
I don't want to give the litmus. I want people to come to class to learn.
Right.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want, don't perform the test. I want people to come to class if they want to learn how to perform the test.
All right.
Okay. Reggie, do you want to continue or do you want to call on someone else to go through this?
Okay, I'm not quite sure where we want to go. I've just read off the definitions other than, I don't think anyone that other than a current student of the class would even know where to go with this.
Mhm. Definitely the new observers don't know how to do it.
Yeah. You started to bring us to the interlinear Bible.
Okay.
And
So let's suffice it to hear. Hearing is concrete, right? Because that's one of your senses.
That's one of, yeah, right, one of your senses.
Right. So, okay, that's one of your senses. So we know it's concrete. So we're dealing with verb form 1. Reggie, if you want to walk through the process, you can. If not, I'll do it.
No, you can do it.
The process of rendering. So let's show this verse in the KJV. I didn't show it in the KJV. So this is the KJV. Okay, this 1611 standard. Okay, we're on the website. Deuteronomy chapter 28, as everybody can see, verse 15. Okay, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not, that was the law, all right, hearken, this is the word we're considering, hearken. Okay, unto the voice of the Most High, thy power to observe all his commandments and his statutes, which, remember we had that one class where we discussed what commandments and statutes and all of that stuff are, remember? Which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay, so we're dealing with hearken. Okay, now let's go to the interlinear. Well, we already looked at that. That's pretty much basically what's in the document. But note that the translator rendered this as you do obey. Okay, in the interlinear, and in the NIV, they render, they render this as hearken unto the voice of the Most High. Okay, so all right. So let's go back to the document. All right. So, in other words, how do we derive at this rendering as opposed to this rendering or some other rendering, right? We see the Hebraic meanings here. We see the Hebraic meanings here. Okay, now these meanings follow specific concepts, okay, specific concepts or a rule that determine these meanings. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. If you know the concepts and rules associated with putting these together or how these are formed, then you can come up with your own stuff, right? And you can also decide which of these are more accurate. And if it's not an issue of accuracy, you can decide based upon your personality, your likes and dislikes, what English word you want to put here to represent the Ibriath word. Is that clear, Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay, so knowing verb form and what it expresses is very important. Consider verb form like a hammer or a screwdriver, right? Pair of vice grips. You use each tool to perform a different function, right? You use a Phillips screwdriver for a screw that has a Phillips head. You use a flathead screwdriver for that, right? So the same thing with the function of a word in a sentence. What word is just a tool. You're going to use it to perform a function like a pair of vice grips or a plumber's wrench, right? You use them to perform different functions. Everybody understand that? Am I losing y'all or talk to me? I don't know what, nobody's saying anything. I don't.
Because we intend to be listening. We're listening with intent.
Okay, thank you, Apostle. So for each verb form, think of it as just being a tool that performs a function in a sentence. Okay, so a woman might consider this, let's say, and I'm not being sexist or anything, I'm just, women have different interests than men. Men, we tend to think about tools. Women, you might think about something else, like, or if I think about my sisters, they like to wear clothes, jewelry, perfumes, right? So these might be different ways that you might accessorize your house or your clothing, right? Earrings perform a certain function, right? You want to look a certain way. The color, the dress, the style of the dress, it has it's going to be different depending on where you're going to go, what you're going to do. Okay, that's all verb form is. What function do I want this word to do for me in a sentence? That's all it is. Function, we can see function or we can see verb form based upon spelling. Okay, so here we have this Hebrew root. Roots are always verbs, right? Now, what do we see? We see the root here, right, Halil? We see the root here, the highlighted part. Okay, and then we see this prefix. This is called a prefix. Anything that occurs before the first pictograph or position 1 in a root, that's a prefix. Okay, it's a prefix. So this is a change in spelling. So this pictograph in this case tells us what? That this is a verb that is expressed in verb form 1. How do we know? Because of the prefix. Is that clear? We use a hammer for a nail. That's all they're saying. We use a screwdriver for a screw. Okay, we use this pictograph when we want to express what? Verb form 1, imperfect tense, second person masculine singular. That all it's saying, okay? That's all it's saying. But it gets easier as we go. I hope I'm not making this confusing. Anybody have any questions? Okay, so let's go to prefix. Reggie, I think it's you, right?
Yeah, I'll continue reading.
Okay.
Prefix. The character tha tells us the verb shama'ai is expressed in verb form 1. Is expressed in the verb form 1 stem in the imperfect tense, and that its subject is the second person masculine singular pronoun you.
Okay.
Explanation.
Hold on 1 second, please, Reggie. All right, so remember there are 7 verb forms. Okay, so a verb can be used to communicate, or a verb can be used in 7 different ways, 7 different functions. Everybody see that? There's 7 different functions. Okay, one of those functions, anybody remember imperfect tense? Imperfect, noble babe, perfecting a document or perfecting something means what in law?
Sorry, say that again.
If you perfect, let's say you perfect a document, what does perfect mean in law? Okay, when something is complete, it's perfect.
Right.
Imperfect means what? Not complete.
Right.
Ongoing, future, present, future, right? Perfect means complete. Okay, so imperfect, so the tense is what? Tense is going to be what? In English, it's past, present, future.
Correct.
In English, it's past, present, future. Tense. Okay. Subject. So this has to do with the what? The subject of the verb. This has to do with how verbs are constructed. See, there's a lot of information communicated in this word, right? Tenses communicated. Y'all see that? This is not the case. Well, let me slow down. Here we are. So imperfect tense, and then the subject is what? Second person. Second person. I'll show you something on that after we get finished with this, okay? Gender is masculine. So what's being communicated? Tense, person, first, second, third. Gender, masculine, female, or what? Ben, masculine, singular, sorry, masculine, feminine, or Adaya, Al-Yashaba, or common.
Feminine.
Yeah. Number would be what? Singular, plural, or
Plural.
Adaya, Al-Yashaba?
Second person,
No, number would be what? Singular, plural, or dual. Dual, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 legs, 2 nostrils, 2 hands, 2 arms. So this is Hebraic. In English, you don't have that. Okay, so all of this is communicated just by this prefix, okay? All right, so Reggie, let's go to explanation, please.
The shama'ai expresses the simple action of the root shama'ai in the active voice. La'ah negates the action of the verb that comes immediately after it. Thus, the
Start here.
shama.
Start here. Always start to the far right. So la'ah.
La-
Shema.
La'ah. La'ah sashama'ai means you will not obey.
Excellent. Continue.
You will not hear, you will not hearken, etc.
Is that clear, scholars?
Yes.
you will not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Reggie, please test your co-scholars for understanding.
No, I can't. I don't quite understand it. The reading right there.
Shama'ai
So, la'ah.
means you will not
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Anybody,
obey, you will not hear,
You're just
you
saying
will not
not.
hearken.
Laverne, did you get it? Does anyone want to test understanding? Noble Bay?
I'm just looking, and it seems as though la'ah is the modifier for
La'ah
shama'ai.
was an adverb. The part of speech was adverb, negative particle.
Right. Right.
Okay, y'all don't be shy. No guessing. Okay, so here's what's happening. This is, did we look up the meaning of negate?
Yes.
So negate is just
Yeah, we
saying
did.
no, right?
Yeah.
It's negating something, okay? So the meaning of this word here is what? You will obey. So when you add this, the la'ah, you would render as
Okay.
you will not obey.
Okay.
See, this is negation. See, not obey is the opposite of obey.
Yes.
Everybody see that?
Mm.
So if this said you will jump, if you add the la'ah before it, it's going to mean you will not jump. Everybody get that?
Yes.
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 You sure? Everybody, you sure, scholars?
Yes.
But you were saying,
La'ah.
Can I get to ask you a question?
La'ah.
Yusuf?
Yes.
La'ah.
Knowing that la'ah negates the word that comes after,
Mhm.
Shammai is the definite article, is the word. The tha is the precept, is the
Let me,
So-
let's look at the interlinear. I think it'll be easier for y'all to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, it's hard looking at that.
Okay, so go ahead, Apostle.
I'm just wondering, do we negate the whole word or do we negate
Only
the
this,
prefix?
only the word that comes after it.
Right. But see, what I'm saying is the word that's coming afterwards is Shema itself is a word without the tha.
Well, that's the root word, but remember, a root cannot be spoken until you put it in a stem or put it in a verb form. Here's your verb form.
Okay.
Otherwise, this root is just what? It's just an index that you write, for example, on an index card or in a dictionary that gives you the most general meaning of every word that derives from it. So in other words, this root, there are several words that are made from what? From this root. That's all they're saying. But you have to what? Put it in a verb form and or conjugate it before you can speak it. This is just an index telling you the general meaning of this word. Now remember, every word that's derived from this root has what? Has a similar meaning to the root. Right? Everybody see that?
What I see is this rendering is not correct,
Okay. Well,
right? Because this is saying you will obey.
right, this is saying that.
Right,
This is saying you do obey, right? So
right.
you're correct. You're correct. So when you go, let's see, when you look at, let me take you back to the document. So here, when you look at the academic, when you look at the gloss, when you look at the gloss is correct in terms of tense, right? You will obey, as opposed to what? Hearken, to listen.
Right.
Right? So remember, this can be correct, incorrect, right? It could be accurate, it could be inaccurate, because this is just based upon what?
That's my point, what I was trying to say. I'm trying to figure out if that's accurate or not.
Right, and that's the process that we're using right now is how to make that determination. Right.
Right.
So yeah, so this is the process of rendering, translating and rendering. So here, hearken, the way the KJV translation team decided to render this is just hearken. But the academically accepted meaning, or the most accepted meaning, is what? Future tense, because it acknowledges what? It acknowledges verb form and all the information communicated in that. It's what? Imperfect tense. Whereas hearken does not acknowledge or account for what? The tense. So these are things we have to check for. Y'all see that? Everybody see that?
Yeah.
So this is a more accurate rendering. Why? Because it accounts for tense. Tense is will, that's future, imperfect tense. The function, so this word occurs in verb form 1, or is expressed in verb form 1 in the imperfect tense, but you don't see imperfect tense here. But you do see it what? In the academic gloss. Everybody see that?
Okay.
So a lot of you all are new, but this gets easier the longer you stay here, right? It gets easier. You just have to immerse yourselves in it, come to class regularly, and it becomes easy, okay? But it's different from English, okay? So now let's take a look at how NIV renders this. I'm curious now. I'm curious if NIV accounts for the, okay, so here, is this NIV? I think this is NIV.
The
So
event.
will. Okay, so that's future tense. Okay, so some translations may leave out certain aspects of grammar where others will be faithful to it. That's the benefit of having that gloss there. Okay, everybody see that? So in other words, the idea to move forward, the message I want to get across is that this not negates this verb. Okay, so this word is you do obey or you will obey, whereas the la'ah is saying you will not obey, right? That's the message there. Okay. Y'all still with me? Laverne, you with me?
This
Halil, you with me? You with me, Halil? Unmute your microphone.
Yes, I am
Mm,
paying attention. I'm learning.
kind of, yeah, struggling with it.
Okay, it's okay. It'll get easier. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let's continue. Excuse me. Okay, let's go back to the document. All right, so there's a lot of information communicated. Now remember, the part of speech is the driver, right? The more faithful, now part of speech does not speak to etymology, it speaks to grammar, right?
Right.
Okay. Grammar, if we know these concepts, we can determine what? We can do an assessment or evaluation on the accuracy of these renderings. Okay, and then we can create our own if we want to. All right, so let's continue. Let's continue to the next word. Oh, Reggie, you still have this one.
Okay. Here's how the shamai is constructed. The root shamai and prefix tha combine to form the word shamai.
Okay, is that clear, everybody? This is the root plus this prefix. This prefix is what? This is just verb form. This verb form communicated all that information. So the root plus a prefix, okay? That's how this word is constructed. In other words, this is the morphology of the word, okay? All right. Reggie, you want to pick the next presenter, please? Excuse me.
Let's see. Cleveland, are you still there? How about Sister Laverne?
Okay. Phoenician Hebrew word.
Facilitate, please, Reggie. Reggie?
Yeah, facilitate.
In other words, show her how to show her how to present this. Same way you present it, just walk her through it.
Okay.
Facilitate.
So here we, when I read the Phoenician word, I'm just basically reading the transliteration of the syllable, the ba, qua, ka, wa, la.
Reggie, excuse me, I would like for you to direct her through.
I'm reading through the thing.
Through questions. Direct her through questions, or a direct instruction. Okay, I want you to think. Everybody, I want you to think. Ask questions. When you ask questions, you have to think and you learn more. So facilitate her, guide her, Reggie, through questions. I know
if I had the questions, I would ask her. Do not do that to me. All right? If I had the questions, I would ask her.
Yeah,
straight to the point.
Reggie.
Reggie's got it. Go ahead, think of the questions.
You're a trip.
It'll cause you to think at a deeper level, and you'll gain a greater understanding of this. So go ahead, formulate your questions, or give a directive. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to get started, give a directive and then present question and teacher.
Okay. So Sister Laverne, if you read for us the next section, and then as you're reading, I can ask you if you know what would understand certain parts of it.
Okay,
Okay.
I guess.
Just begin reading, please.
Okay. Transliteration ba ka wala,
Mm-hmm.
part of speech, preposition. It's a noun. Masculine singular construct. In the 1611 KJV, unto the voice. The gloss is on voice of.
Do you understand the difference between the 1611 KJV accepted version rendering and the gloss? Can you tell us?
Excellent.
Can you tell us what the gloss is? What the gloss?
No, I don't. I'm not. I don't know what gloss is.
It's okay. Gloss means the academically accepted version of the word among institutions, among colleges, those who study etymology and English language. So, whereas I'm not really quite sure of who pretty much authorizes the rendering of the 1611 KJV onto the voice. But so as you look at the two renderings from the 1611 onto the voice and on voice of, would you say they're pretty much equivalent?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And there's no right or wrong answer. Just I would agree too. Let's read on down. It's
Okay.
if you can slide down a little bit further, Dr. Yasapa. Go ahead and read for us the base word and the Strong's number.
Okay, the base word.
Base word in this case is a noun.
It's a noun. Kawala. Short spelling. Kuala. Strong's number is 6963.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what the Strong's number is?
Yes, Strong's concordance.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
From an unused root word to call aloud. Okay. To call aloud a voice or sound. The Brown Driver Briggs, 1A is a voice, 1B is a sound of instrument. Number 2 is lightness, frivolity.
Mm-hmm. The Brown Driver Briggs, do you know what index that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, the Strong's concordance is an index of most of the words that are in the KJV Bible, indexed in both Hebrew and in Greek. The Brown Driver Briggs is a more exhaustive list. It's a list of all the words in the Bible, every single word that's in there. So I think that's the reason why they're referenced both. The Brown Driver Briggs is the more complete index.
Okay.
That's
okay.
all.
I got it.
And so often when Dr. Yasapa jumps to the Interlinear Bible, we'll see the definitions listed, the BR. Those are referenced in the indexes from the Brown Driver Briggs. When he jumps into let's see.
Go ahead, Reggie. Go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah. So when so that's why I'm just clarifying that, making that known. Now, okay, you were bringing up the term. I was going to go back to that definition before you went to frivolity. from your, go back to your book. Yeah, voice lightness. Spelling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a term that was kind of new to me. And I need to go back and see the original word again before I can ask my question, because that one just threw me off. No, back to your book, Yusapa. Yeah, and slide up a little bit, because I lost the definition of word I was trying to, of the base word on voice, on voice of. Okay, so
Yes.
what threw me off was definition 2 from the Brown Driver Briggs.
Oh.
You know, if you're not hearkening to the voice of, we're talking about, but that, you know, that term, that definition kind of threw me off, lightness and frivolity. So I think that's why he moved us over here. Would you care to read that definition for us?
Lack of seriousness, lightheartedness. Is that it? Okay, let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, read and apply. But Reggie,
yeah.
Continue, please.
So, Ali Ashuba, I'll get back to Laverne. Just read this verse for us, verse 15.
But it shall come.
Just read up to the first comma. Just read it again.
But it shall come to pass.
Continue. I'm sorry, the second comma.
Oh, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High, thy power.
Yes, if we were not hearken unto the voice. So go back to the book. That's why I was. This is the word that we're chewing on right now. Onto the voice of.
Yeah.
And so tell me, Sister Laverne, does, you know, what are your feelings when you look at that? When you look at that definition?
Life number 2?
Yeah.
I would have never associated that with the verse.
Me neither. Yeah.
And so it threw me off too. I'm like, what?
Lightness and frivolity.
Yeah.
In other words, if you will not take things seriously.
Serious.
Yeah.
That's what I think that lightness and frivolity is supposed to be saying, that you're not hearkening, you're not taking it to heart.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Sister Laverne, continue reading on with the prefix.
Prefix ba is the preposition in, at, by, thus. I don't know how to move my screen over.
Oh, it's in the way. I get that. That's the words.
Put your pictures in
voila.
Oh, yeah, would make sense. Means in voice, at voice, by voice, and is rendered unto the voice, on voice, the voice, etc.
Okay. Well, I think we can kind of agree with the meaning. I think the definition of both the Brown Driver Briggs on voice and in voice of are pretty close. But what was not expected, at least from me, was the term of the definition of lightness,
right, yeah. Right,
and frivolity,
right,
because the term is absolutely abstract. It's not concrete at all.
Right.
But yet I get it looking at the definition.
So the concrete would be what? Weight, right?
Weight. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
So like for example, our elders, we have to treat them as weighty people. Male or female? Reggie, that was excellent. That was excellent. Congratulations. I want to point something out. Notice it says sound, sound of an instrument. That's why we're not using sound.
Right.
Okay, sound of an instrument. Now let's look at that. They don't give us that information in Strong's. Y'all see that?
Hmm.
See that? Okay. That information is not provided in Strong. Neither is this.
Neither is that.
Yes.
Right.
So here's our root. Here's our root. This is a short spelling. This is a long story right here. We'll deal with that another day. These are prefix, right? Which is a what? Preposition. Okay. Masculine is what? Gender, right?
Right.
Gender is masculine, feminine, and common. It is not sexual gender. It's grammatical gender. Okay, grammatical gender. Gender just means what? Changes in spelling. So masculine words will follow a specific pattern of spelling.
Yeah.
Better.
Feminine, a specific pattern of spelling. That's all it has to do with no sex. Grammatical gender. Okay, feminine does what? Receives. Masculine gives. Okay, you can kind of associate that.
Yeah.
Okay, singular would be number. Number is going to be singular, plural, and dual. No note taking, no note taking. Okay, focus so you don't miss anything. Number will be singular, plural, or dual. Construct, we'll deal with this in another class, okay? All right. Reggie, that was excellent. Congratulations.
You know, something just came to mind though on definition 1B, on voice of what on sound of instrument. You think that may have something to do with the blowing of the shofar, like when we hear that sound, when somebody blows it aloud as a warning, or of a wake-up call for everybody?
I mean, you could use this word for that.
I'm just looking at the definition of 1B.
I like that.
Of sound of an instrument. In other words, hey, it's time to pay attention. This maybe it's a trumpet call. Hey, everybody, pay attention. Don't take it light. Something's about to happen. I'm guessing. I don't know.
That's a good analogy.
An instrument, but whether it is, I don't know. I mean, we could easily check to see what word is used there in those verses.
No, I'm just I just thought as they came to that definition from the Brown Driver Briggs, because again, I really did not definitely didn't expect the lightness and the frivolity, as Sister Laverne sounded out, and the thing of sound of instrument,
Well, that takes us back to verse 1, right, of Deuteronomy 28. Everybody remember that? Everybody should really always remember verse 1.
Yeah.
Let's go back to it. I don't know which version it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is KJV. It says, if thou shalt hearken diligently.
Yeah.
NIV. Where's the one where it says carefully obey? Y'all remember that one?
Was that in 15 or 14 or 15 starting to?
No, the version.
Oh,
It says, if you will carefully. Let me go to
NIV.
What version was that? I just don't remember.
NIV.
Huh?
NIV. Check and see if it was the NIV version.
NIV or the KJV. I think you may have the NIV up.
Y'all see my browser, or what are y'all looking at?
Deuteronomy 28:1. That different version.
See carefully here.
Yeah.
That's NIV.
Now notice what it says fully. Fully is
Oh,
what? The whole, right?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
if you fully obey the Most High, your power, and what? Carefully. Let's look that up.
Carefully follow.
Right, now let's look that up. To the precise meaning. Who were you facilitating? Reggie, was that Yashaba or was it somebody else? I forgot.
Laverne, I just threw another student in there to see.
Okay, so Laverne, go ahead, continue reading, please.
Carefully, in a way that deliberately avoids harm or errors, cautiously.
Okay, now
Okay.
Incorporate that with your discussion with Reggie a few minutes ago. Remember about frivolous, lightly and frivolously?
Oh, okay. What,
Look at it. Do some
yeah, let me
type
look
of
at
comparative
Uh-huh.
analysis
that's
There it is.
yeah. So let's go back to it. So let's hear your analysis or your comments. If you want to pass it, you can pass it.
Can we go back to frivolity? Heart, okay, yeah, that's what I want to say. See, this, it says lack of seriousness. So if we're talking about carefully observe.
Are these opposites? Or
Yeah.
very good.
Because here we're talking about deliberately. So do we deliberately because I'm thinking about frivolity as being not conscious, but yet just I don't feel like doing it.
What you mean deliberately here or where?
No.
I'm not following you. Here?
Yeah. Lack of seriousness. So to me, it means, look, I'm going to do something. I'm not serious about it. I'm just forget it. Which I don't want to say that. No, I don't want to say
correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Going through the motion.
Yes, that's a good word, because I was getting ready to go off and I didn't want to, be.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And deliberately is more
deliberately what?
Avoiding.
Right. So now go ahead with your comment.
So deliberately avoiding is, I know the right thing to do, but I'm just not going to do it anyhow.
Well, in this case?
I think so.
Well,
okay. Reggie, hold on. Let's please hold on. Let's get the other people involved. Reggie, pick somebody, please.
Brother Ben, still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Do you have what are your thoughts on that verse, or as we're looking at that one piece of scripture about taking to heart the voice of the Most High, and as we looked at the definitions from the Brown Driver Briggs, it had a couple of terms of dealing with frivolity, lightheartedness, as well as on voice by way of instrument. Do you have any thoughts on that, on the matter? In regard to the context of 28:1.
Well, we've seen the different meanings. One thing you mentioned, which we haven't proven it, but you mentioned when it talks about instrument, it could be talking about the blowing the shofar, which is a good observation. You understand? Because the sound of the shofar is mentioned and heard throughout scriptures on a frequent basis when I read scripture, right? But no, I don't think basically what you have said and what everybody said is basically in context and carefully. if you hearken carefully, it means that you're trying to make sure you're not in error in any form or shape. So that's my take. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but that's my take.
Right, cautiously, right? Cautiously. We have to follow these instructions in a way that shows that we're deliberately being conservative, right? If you don't know, don't do it. That's basically what it's saying, right? Apostle?
Agree, Con.
Yeah.
Deliberately avoid harm or that means I'm particularly taking notice, carefully, intentionally, cautiously. So I'm being all these things, not to err, not to fall in error. I'm being attentive. I'm being caution. I might not understand exactly, but I'm taking
Cautions.
right, cautions or opportunity to be correct regardless. I'm just gonna do it because I don't want to be wrong. So I'm gonna take whatever precautions I need to do in order to do that.
Okay, excellent. I want to draw y'all's attention to something. The Most High's instructions, the essence of the instructions, the commandments are what? Rooted in natural law. Rooted in natural law. This is why I like this translation. What does it say? Deliberately avoids harm. Remember the class we did where we talked about natural law and the commandments? Every commandment, I think you were there, Apostle. Every commandment deals with harm or not harming someone. This is the essence of the commandment.
Right, it avoids bringing harm.
Right, it avoids bringing harm. Okay, so what else is this connected to? This is connected to our restoration. Our core scripture is what? Deuteronomy 30. If you what? Wholeheartedly remember the return?
Wholeheartedly return to the Most High.
Yes.
He will restore you and heal our land.
Yeah, and so what does wholeheartedly mean?
Totally.
Without hypocrisy, right? So let's look at Bible Hub. I think it might have been verse 2 or 3. Oh, that's 1. Okay, so somewhere in here, y'all, let's look up wholeheartedly. Wholehearted. Let's just put wholehearted. Is that it? Yeah, here it is. See, complete sincerity and commitment.
Right.
Isn't that the same as, isn't that the same as what we just looked at carefully?
Yeah.
Right.
Or a nuance of it, right? Where is
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it? Deliberately avoids harm and errors. Okay, so this is how we need to return to the Most High. Complete sincerity. In other words, we're not using the scripture or the laws or the instructions to what? Take advantage of our brothers. You can take advantage of heathens because they're not in the contract.
True.
Right? But you cannot take advantage or use these instructions in a way that will what? Harm somebody. Okay? And you're seeking some kind of gain like money, sex, power, influence, these kind of things. Everybody see that?
Yeah, I believe you demonstrated in a short clip of the Ish saying, yeah, we can do, we do what we do to the Goyim, but not to our own.
Yeah, right. Because remember, this is all about what? Inheritance, hereditaments, or how do you pronounce it, Noble Bay?
Hereditaments.
Hereditaments, right? Commerce, nation building, okay? So preservation of culture, norms and values, these are all hereditations, okay? That's why we see this here. All right. How's everybody doing? Laverne, you okay?
I'm fine.
I'm probably gonna have to bail out, y'all.
Halil, are you're
Yeah.
not feeling well?
Nah, my temperature's gone back up. Got pain in my legs, so
Yeah, you go. Take it easy, brother Stanford. Get some
Yeah.
rest. We really appreciate you. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming in, this morning again. We weren't expecting to have you, from your email.
well,
Before you leave,
enjoyed it.
Apostle, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just saying I enjoyed the class. It's like looking at a good movie that stays with you. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a good explanation, a good description, but today's lesson is one that's going to stay with me, man. It's it's permeating in my conscience, in my soul. So it was a good class, y'all.
All right,
We
brother.
appreciate your participation and input. Your comments really add to the quality of the course, and I appreciate you being here. And also pray for your speedy recovery, speedy and complete recovery.
Please keep me in prayer. Keep me in prayer.
Apostle, you got to know, we could check in on you later on in a week or so.
Yeah, listen, it's all right. Y'all write down, Laverne, when they go off air, because I don't want to put that information out on the air.
Okay.
But when they go off, just share my information with everybody.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
My email and my phone number.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, y'all
God
be
bless
good.
you.
All right, brother.
Shalom.
The Most High bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Next class.
Rest well, brother.
Thank you.
Halil, were you okay?
Yes,
Halil?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I would like to know if Brother Bay can just expound really briefly what that word means, hereditism. I'm not saying it properly.
Herediments, was that it, I think?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, hereditament is, hereditary, something that's passed down through lineage, something you receive based upon what was done beforehand. And we're saying from our ancestral point of view, our ancestors passed down these things to us. So what they originally had, descends to us as the descendants. So we inherit, or it's a part of our almost got myself. It's a part of our hereditament. So it's our right to receive that because they were the original owners of it, and it passes down to us as their lineage, as their direct bloodline descendants.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent, Noble Bay. Noble, can you discuss the significance of an inheritance and hereditament? Because most people, we're not taught that information.
Absolutely. Just to give a brief summary, it's of course when things start out at a certain point, as life starts at a certain point, just to kind of give it just an overview, like once that starting point, begins and it starts to pass down through like life, existence, and, people create, cultures, and then based upon those. I hear something. Okay, all right, because I heard a voice talking sound like a cell phone or something. So as I was saying, as life, progresses, things pass down. It's passed down, like say a culture, You know, people based upon certain territories and regions, cultures passed down, you know, like languages. And it's the same thing as far as like, you know, things that are hereditary, you know, passing down through the descendancy of the people, you know, of our bloodlines, of the nations, the cultures are passing along. So just in a nutshell, it's saying that, you know, we're keeping that covenant, you know, based upon whatever performance our foremothers and forefathers have put in place for us to keep our culture pure, to keep our, you know, covenant with, even in the sense, the Most High, based upon what I'm learning through this class, and keeping the potency of what originated as we pass down, and keep that potency, to try to keep that perfection in a sense. So as the hereditatements pass down, we're inheriting that. It's our right as we're born on this earth. So we receive it and we continue to pass on that culture, that trend, that, you know, whatever, you know, things that were built, that it was built upon, for us to receive and continue on the legacy, ultimately, is what it all comes down to.
Noble Bey, please put that in context of specifically dealing with the house of Yasharallah and the blessings. Look at the highlighted part here.
Yes, so as he highlighted, restore your fortunes. So the things that are fortunate, whether it's, you know, things that are derived from the land, like resources, the wealth of the land, of course, the culture, which is a part of the original covenants that were created for us to receive those. And Yasharallah is a part of that, being that that was from a standpoint of, you know, a higher mindset, a higher state of being, that ultimate holy covenant, for us to receive that and carry on that.
Yeah, so money and assets, right?
Absolutely, that all of it is included, because that was all part of that culture and what originated and what our foremothers, our ancestors, our forefathers, what have you, have put in place for us to carry on. And it includes everything, whether it's land, resources, because they were all things that they built as a part of the culture. They built that, and it was for us to receive that and carry that on, and that includes the wealth.
Yes, also norms and values, like the Noble Bey said, the norms and values, tangible, in other words, tangibles and intangibles.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Tangibles would also include land. Okay, in other words, everything that gets hypothecated and taken away from us or erased from our memory as a house of Yasharallah, these are the hereditatements. I think.
Yeah. In fact, it has all been taken away from us. If you're a descendant, if you are an American descendant of slavery, it's all been taken away. There's nothing of our original heritage that has been literally passed down from the start.
That's right. Even
it's all been stripped away. You know, and this is why our people were literally destroyed in terms of losing all the actual heritage, true heritage and knowledge and true traditions as it were. So that's why it's important that we get back into these books, allow the Most High through the workings of the Holy Spirit to help give us understanding as we read these books, to rightly divide the word, look into things deeply, comprehensively, to figure out what our culture actually was, what it should be, and what do we want to pass on to our children now that we are learning to live outside of the curses, learning to, more importantly, to try to hold on to some of these blessings by coming back and accepting his word. So,
yeah, and the
there are my 2 cents. The other stuff, you know, he said that's all, you know, it's what it should be, and it's what it should be, and it's what it would have been if we had kept our heritage all the way now. But everything's been kind of taken away from us. So we, you know, other than the, you know, a lot of the meaningless culture that unfortunately society has imposed upon us. So, but If we come back to him.
I just wanted to add in too, to interject with what Brother Reggie was saying. It's just a reclamation process right now is what we're going through. We're just getting back to what the strong foundations of what everything was built upon, and just reclaiming everything and carrying the torch, so to speak.
Okay, so let me just throw in there that the removal, taking away of our heritage has been complete. Even our physical bodies, the ownership of that has been taken away from us, right? This is what the Pope did.
Right.
Right? Even ownership of the physical body owned by the Pope or the Catholic Church, okay? And they do that through the birth certificate. It's just complete. So we need to fully return to the Most High. And remember that side point about how to treat our unmarried sister. Okay, build the family. When you have a strong family, you have a strong community. Okay, but anyway, that's for the priest too. But all right, y'all want to stop? Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just about out of time myself because, like I said, I utilize a public space for now, so I'll probably have only a few more minutes myself.
I'm gonna end the live. Well, do y'all want to say anything for the listening, for whoever might listen to this?
Yes, I just want to say that thank you, Brother Noble Bay, for such a clear and concise explanation of the breakdown of that word. And also, I would like to say that most definitely what our righteous foreparents passed down to us, that we should honor and try to replicate, because there's some things that some of our ancestors that have passed down onto us that truly help us to be in the position that we're in today. So I just wanted to thank you once again for that explanation.
Very welcome, sister.
Thank you, Noble Bay, for opening my understanding. That was a lot to think about, and I will be digesting that for a long time to learn more.
You're very welcome. It was an absolute pleasure to share.
Hey, so that's that term we say, shalawama, right, Doc?
Say it again, Cleveland, I didn't hear you.
I said kind of go in line with the term when we say shalawama. May the Most High restore all that we are owed, that is due to us.
Yes. Yeah, and that's actually what we should all say to each other. Right. That's an excellent point, Cleveland. Excellent point. Al Yashiba, were you saying something? Unmute your microphone, please. Unmute your microphone. Al Yashiba, unmute your microphone.
I'm sorry, my mic got muted for some reason. Can I be heard now?
Yes.
Yes, I was thinking as you were speaking, and that was so beautiful for you to run down our history so eloquently. I was thinking even our very names, we don't even have our names. That's why we have no identity. You see an Irish person, McDonald or whatever their names are, a Jewish person, Levy, you can tell them by their names. So we have no identity whatsoever. And it's so heart-rending what has been done to us as a people. I was talking to a couple of, I'll make this short, a couple of neighbors, and they told me they're not interested. They don't want to know. One woman threw her hand up and said, I don't want to know. So this is the problem we're facing. A lot of us want to join in with this nation and run to the polls and vote and become a part of this nation. And that's what's that's what hurts. They don't want to know. So thank you again for reminding us of our rich heritage.
Very welcome.
Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Yasapa with Zion Law School, and the link is in the description or the chat. So if you want to come in next week to the classroom, you're welcome to do so. You can actually come in, you can stay or attend, observe 4 classes for free. You don't have to pay anything. You're going to learn a tremendous amount. You'll really learn a tremendous amount. So I hope to see more people next week. If anybody doesn't have anything else to say, I will ask the senior man here for permission to end the class.
All right, peace, brothers and sisters. It's been a pleasure, and see you next week.
Okay, Shalom, Noble Bay, Reggie.
Yeah, my permission.
Shalom.
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 It's great being here.
Reggie, do I have your permission to end the course? If so, I'll turn it off.
You have my permission to end the class.
Thank you, Reggie.
Yasharala.
Thank you, Brother Reggie.
Yeah, thanks, Akridge.
Yeah.
I'm in the live still. So, okay, I'm ending the live stream now.
You and the doctor make a good team.